Welcome back. It's been a while. I know. I've had a very, very, very busy couple of months. Um, where do I start? Well, I got invited to the Red Sea Film Festival, and it was to pitch me and my brother's idea that we co-wrote. We wrote it together, so that was really fun. And at the festival, we watched a lot of movies, and a lot of movies outside the festival. And this is everything I watched in December. Woo! So this December, I started the rewatch of the Mission Impossible series, starting with Mission Impossible 1. And damn, this movie holds up. Before the rewatch, I hadn't seen this movie in like 10 years, and it just bangs. Um, this is like the only Mission Impossible movie that actually feels like a spy movie. The whole runtime is really tense, and there's a lot of anxiousness and anticipation. And the big action climax at the end isn't as big as the rest of the Mission Impossible series. It didn't really enter that stratosphere of insane stunts. And I don't know. I really enjoyed this. I really love the performances in this. This is one where Tom Cruise really gets to act. Later on in the series, it's more just like, hey, do a sad face and then do a really sick action movie. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a different type of film. But this is one where it really gets intimate with the characters, and I enjoyed that. And then after that, it was Mission Impossible 2. What an awful, terrible film. This was a slog to get through the first time when I watched it as a kid. It's a slog to get through now. Holy. Maybe some of the worst editing in an action movie in a very long time. This is like on par with Quantum of Solace for like the terrible editing meter. And you guys know how I feel about Quantum of Solace. Uh, Wait, you don't? I never uploaded that James Bond video. Oh, okay. I'll re-record it and I'll upload it eventually. But yeah, this movie's absolutely terrible. Please don't watch this. If you're doing a Mission Impossible uh, rewatch, this is such a big hurdle, and I don't blame anyone for giving up. But yeah, the rest of the series is pretty fun, so get to it. And right after Mission Impossible 2, I watched Mission Impossible 3. That's a good movie. I love Philip Seymour Hoffman. He is incredible in this. I just lost the light. Well, Philip Seymour Hoffman is unbelievable in this. He's so menacing without having to do anything insane. Um, Mission Impossible 3 probably has one of my favorite intros in a film of all time. It's so good, and the way it's resolved at the end is absolutely fantastic. Showing you the climax of the film right at the beginning, right before that title card plays, and then it cuts off right at the end. It's so good. Fantastic work from Philip Seymour Hoffman, and I actually used that scene as an example for my friends who said that Tom Cruise can't act, because damn, that's a good scene, and that's some really good acting. Next up, this is kind of weird. I watched The Penguin. Yes. Normally I talk about movies on here, but The Penguin was just so good that I feel like I kind of have to talk about it. I try to avoid short films and TV shows when I talk about this stuff, because it's kind of hard to review an entire TV show, and it's kind of unfair to review a short film as this like huge piece, because it is a short film. Most of the time they're proof of concept or just the director and writers experimenting with stuff. But now that we're past that, The Penguin, maybe one of the most like vile shows ever made. I don't think I've ever seen a protagonist so like unredeemable. It is ridiculous. You watch the entire show and there is nothing but absolute hatred for what they stupidly decided to call Oz Cobb and not Oswald Cobblepot, but whatever. Um, Like, just when he does something cool or he does something that you're like, yes, get it, Oswald. He destroys it. He destroys any trust you have in the character, and he makes you feel like Sofia Falcone, who's a complete deranged psychopath, is the hero of the story, and that's messed up. Um, a lot of films and a lot of TV shows and just a lot of media these days, they really don't want that anti-hero thing, and I'll talk about that a bit later. But this is a show where you have a complete evil villain, unredeemable. It's just disgusting. And the thing he does in the finale, I just need I see the Batman 2 is delayed to 2027, right? By then I don't even know what type of mind space I'm gonna be in. I need to watch Oswald Cobblepot die now. I want to watch Batman break every single bone in his body. And 2027 is a bit too far. The cinematography in The Penguin is brilliant. It's so moody, It really gets you. I know people say this a lot, but it really does feel like Gotham City is a character. This is the type of disgusting, vile people that live in Gotham City. It's just beautiful. The camera work is so deliberate. Every scene is written so immaculately, and I think my issues with the series were very, very, very minimal. And I haven't given my ratings for the films. Well, for the films I already talked about, the rating will be on the screen, and for the Penguin going forward, I'll add that. And the Penguin gets a big fat 9 out of 10 for me. Just beautiful work. After the Penguin, I continued the Mission Impossible binge, and I watched Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Uh, this one really slaps. I loved I love the way the setup is for this film. Ethan having to go ghost and go rogue again. I think it's really well set up. I love the ensemble of characters. I think everyone bounces off each other so well. The actually using Benji, Simon Pegg's character in the field, I think that was a fantastic idea. We need to have this character around. Same with Jeremy Renner's character. I'm really bad with names. Whatever his character's called. That group is just so well knit. And the threat is always this massive threat. The action sequences are so fun. And I think Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol is when they really lean into that. We're going to make some crazy action sequences. When I think Mission Impossible, one of the first scenes that comes to mind is that hallway scene with Benji and Ethan. It's just so good. The dumb, unrealistic technology, and when they could have just probably knocked the guard out or something, but no, they decided to have this elaborate hologram thing. That's so cool, and that's what's Mission Impossible to me. And without spoiling it, because I don't want to spoil how sick the final set piece is, the opening set piece in the Kremlin, where they blow up the Kremlin, is just so good. And I love Mission Impossible, man. And getting to share Mission Impossible with my friends was sick. I'm going to end up finishing the rewatch alone. But I got them hooked. They're all going to finish it now. And when the final reckoning comes out, hopefully in a few months, I will be seated. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, 7 out of 10. After Ghost Protocol, we flew in for the Red Sea Film Festival. Here are some nice pictures of me at the festival. And the first movie we watched at the festival is my favorite of the bunch. One of my favorites of the year. And this movie is probably going to end up being one of my favorites of all time. Of course, I'm talking about You Are the Universe. And I know a lot of you, well, like 99% of you have not seen this film. And I'm not sure when it's going to be distributed widely, when it's going to get that big release that it deserves. But You Are the Universe is brilliant. I really want to talk about this film, but I don't want to spoil anything. So I'll just give you how the film kind of sets up the universe. Um, Earth in the future has a lot of nuclear waste, and to get rid of it and not, have it radiate the planet into a microwave, they send that waste to one of Jupiter's moons. I forgot which moon. I'm really bad with names, but they send it to one of Jupiter's moons, and the trip from Earth to there takes 2 years, and 2 years back, that's 4 years. So there are people whose job is to sit on a rocket ship by themselves, or space shuttle, whatever it's called, by themselves for that 4 year period. And you go and you come back and you get paid very, very handsomely. Um, we have our character, Andre, or as his little AI sidekick likes to call him, Andruja. And it's this really beautiful relationship between this man, his own emotions, and the loneliness he feels in space, combined with this hilarious robot whose whole thing is that he can tell him jokes. And they're all dad jokes, and they're all terrible. And I'm not going to speak any more about this film because I think it's too good for me to go on and talk about it. Do not Google the synopsis for this film. If you read the synopsis or like the plot line or the log line for the film, it just spoils it. And it's like, what? So walking in and witnessing the events that happen in this film first time, I really think that you should go into this one completely blind. I've given you enough. You Are the Universe is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. Next up, we watched Dreaming of Lions. Dreaming of Lions is so funny. Right when the movie starts, there's this cold open with a gun, and it's probably one of the funniest intros to a film I've ever seen. I remember me sitting next to my brother, and we were both cackling, crying, laughing like 10 seconds into the movie. It is that good. Director Paulo Marino Blanco is a great guy. I spoke to him at the screening. We spoke to him after as well. We caught up to him in a different screening, a different day. He's just a really nice dude. But that's not why I like the film. I like the film because it's hilarious. It's morbid. It's about a woman who wants to deal with her suicidal thoughts. She has a terminal illness, and she wants to go out on her own terms. She doesn't want to be taken down by her cancer. And it's so morbid, but it's so funny. And Dreaming of Lions is a hilariously good time. Please check it out. And thank you again to Mr. Marino Blanco for being so nice. Dreaming of Lions, 8 out of 10. Next, we watch a film that I was so excited for at the festival, and it just let me down completely. The concept was so wonderful, and from the shots that we saw as like marketing material for the film, the cinematography looked gorgeous. And yes, To Kill a Mongolian Horse was gorgeous. Just beautiful, so like well executed and well planned out cinematography. And unfortunately, that's all I can say that I like about this film. The concept for the film seemed really interesting to me, about a man who's refusing to let go of his old culture, his like farmer mentality, to let go into this new society made by China and Mongolia. But it's just boring, unfortunately. Nothing really happens, and I know that no, nothing really happens. That's like a cliche people will talk about, but nothing really happens in this. I expected this to be like a really dark breakdown of a man, but no, it's just really beautiful shots of a man and his regular life. To Kill a Mongolian Horse, 2 out of 10. After that, we watched Hobal, and Hobal is a Saudi movie. I love the fact that Saudi cinema is getting this massive platform. The Red Sea Film Festival is such a big proponent of that. And unfortunately, Hobal felt like a letdown for me because the concept was beautiful and it didn't stick the landing at all. I think this would have been a fantastic short film, probably like one of the short films to talk about if the runtime was 30-40 minutes. but as a full, what is it, 100 minutes that this film is, it just drags on for too long, and there isn't enough substance in the story to keep you hooked. Hobal, 5 out of 10. Next, we watched Zero. Zero is a film by a Senegalese director, and it's about two Americans that wake up with bombs strapped to their chest in Senegal. It was kind of This movie was kind of like a breakdown of Senegalese culture and poverty in the country, but without that sob story sadness going on. Just that how these people learn to live with their low incomes, and how this rich American comes in and ruins everything. It's really fun. For the first half, I think the first act of this film specifically is brilliant. It's so well shot. It's so well written. It's hilarious. It's like jumpy. It's gets you on the edge of your seat, and then the movie just drags and drags and drags, and it lets itself down. To be honest, Zero should have been fantastic, but in the end, it didn't have enough for me. 5 out of 10. After Zero, we watched another brilliant film. This is Somebody, a Korean thriller. And yes, when I say Korean thriller, I know a lot of you are like, whoa, Korea! Yeah, that's how I feel these days. Korean cinema is like next level. Somebody is such a smart thriller. And right before the film, the director and one of the lead actresses on the film stood up and gave a little talk, and the actress spoke about her character, and the director told us to take a close look at the relationships between some of the characters. And I highly recommend the same, because oh my god, the direction that this film goes with its characters and the character work is just unbelievable. The actor for So Hyun does a fantastic job. And there's like a really big thing that happens at the end of Act 1, and that is such a memorable scene, and it will stick with me for a long time. I mean, I've been thinking about that scene for a very long time. Also, the cinematography in this is brilliant. The color theory, color grading specifically, it's just so gorgeous. And there's a thing that they did with the wardrobe of the characters that I don't want to spoil. I'll probably wait for this film to release internationally and do a deeper dive on it, because it is that good. But yeah, dude, it's so hard not to spoil. So I'm not gonna spoil the film, and let's just say Somebody, 9 out of 10. Next up is Pablo Larraín's newest film, Maria, about the brilliant and internationally famous Maria Callas. This biopic stars Angelina Jolie, and she gives a powerhouse of a performance, really. I went into this expecting it to just be regular old Oscar bait, but I don't think that it is, because I mean, yeah, sure, she's gonna get an awards run for this film, and people are already talking about best lead female, but this movie wasn't about that for me. I really felt that the snapshots in the twilight of Maria Callas' life that they chose to focus on is fantastic. It's such a good concept. Instead of going through the entire lifespan of Maria Callas, they just focus on the ending, and it's just so well executed. It's really emotional. It's beautiful. Some of the lip syncing in this is kind of off, but I can forgive that. As an actor, imagine trying to copy a classically trained opera singer, and that opera singer being the most important opera singer of all time. So we can let it slide. But yeah, the musical numbers in this are fantastic, and maybe maybe a little bit makes me want to go see an opera live and see what all the hype is about. Maria, 8 out of 10. Next, we watched Front Row. It's an Algerian comedy, kind of like a slice of life film. This is really funny, but no really big wow moments. It's just genuinely really funny. One of the actors in this, Let me get his name. Idir Benaybush. I'm probably saying that name terribly, but he is so funny in this. Same with the actor Fatiha Warid. Fatiha Warid. Yeah, Fatiha Warid. I think that's her name. She plays a really hilarious character. She plays the mother in this. And yeah, Front Row is a good time. Check it out. You know, if you're looking for a very simple, feel good film, 6 out of 10. Next, we watched We Live in Time. Now, this is the film I was excited for the most out of everything at the festival. It wasn't the standout for me, as I already mentioned. That was You Are the Universe and Somebody. But We Live in Time was, well, a good time and a bad time. Um, I feel like when you make a romantic film, you have to make both characters extremely interesting. And that's something that We Live in Time fails. Cinematography, brilliant. Editing, brilliant. Like, genuinely brilliant editing. The way they chose to tell the story through different snapshots, it is so well done. It kind of reminds me of After Sun, but if After Sun was shot more traditionally. And edited more traditionally, you know. The performances here from Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh are really good, but this is my big but. Florence Pugh's character, I'm really bad with names. I already forgot the names. Florence Pugh's character is well written enough for me. There's a lot of substance, and we see a lot of her ambition. However, all that ambition ends up in just her work. We don't see how her home life is. We don't see her ambitions outside of being this fantastic, great chef. And then for Andrew Garfield's character, we see nothing, dude. All we know is that he's kind of a dork. And yeah, that's about it, really. He's kind of a dork, and he's supportive of his wife. That's it. And, you know, the emotional beats are really done well in this. But for a film specifically a romantic film, to really grip me, both characters have to be interesting. And we kind of get like 70% of a character. And that's about it. We Live in Time, 7 out of 10. Next was... I'm not trying to be mean on this channel. I love art. I made this channel so I could talk about art that I like and grow my own palette. But Songs of Adam, man, this movie was something. The concept is there is a young boy who witnesses a death in his family. His grandfather passes away, so he decides that I don't want this grown-up stuff, so I'm not gonna grow up. And that's it. Everyone around him grows up. He doesn't grow up, and that's kind of like the only thing that happens in this movie. Nothing interesting goes on. There's supposed to be like this interesting relationship written between him, his older brother, his younger brother, who becomes older than him and wants him to grow, and his friend, who's just extremely supportive the whole way. I think that could have been a fun dynamic, but nothing is done with it. There's a really creepy sequence with a lady who's like kind of into him, even though he's 12, like physically 12, but like, he's like 80 or something. It's just really weird and uncomfortable. I really didn't like this film, and sorry. Songs of Adam, 1 out of 10. Next, I watched Benu Ben, or Elsewhere at the Border. This is another Algerian film, and there is some overlap with the characters in Front Row for the cast. But this is a very different film. It takes a much serious tone. It's about some people trying to survive off smuggling at the Algerian border. Benu Ben means between, like two things in Arabic. And that concept is a philosophy that's not explored but mentioned in the film, how their lives are just in between, and that's physically represented by being in between two countries, living at the border and working at the border. So they live in between. But that philosophy isn't explored at all. One of the characters mentions it, and then the character that's mentioned to mentions it to someone else. And that's it. There is no real exploration of that. I feel like this film should have been a lot more uh, a lot more of the philosophical side of that statement. And when you name a movie around something, you should focus on that something. That's just my opinion. Um, yeah, Banu Ben, 4 out of 10. 40 Acres. Uh, this is a directorial debut by R.T. Thorne, and what a fantastic directorial debut. This film had me at the edge of my seat from the beginning. Um, and this would have been almost a flawless film if not for the lull about halfway through the second act. It picks right back up. The action scenes in this are really well made. There is so much. There's so much beautiful cinematography involved. I'm sure the choreography took a lot of time too, and the performances, especially the mother. Oh my god, performances in this are fantastic. I really love the mix between Black culture and Native American culture in this. That there's a Black mother and a Native American father. I really love that connection and how the two cultures mix and match, and you can see the kids. Excuse me, and you can see the kids and how they learn to pick up on both these cultures. Um, that's not the focus of the film. I just thought that was a cool tidbit about it. The focus of the film is this post-apocalyptic world where all livestock is basically gone and there's nothing but farmland left, and food has become a very rare resource. And there's a bunch of people coming in to kill people at the farm to get their resources. And the family own a very big farm, and they gotta defend themselves. So the mom and dad have trained their kids to be assassins. Like, holy. The opening sequence of this film is this incredible action scene where it's kind of like Home Alone on crack, where they're protecting their farm and they're using a bunch of traps. And there's a 15-year-old girl with a sniper rifle bigger than her, and she's taking people out. It's just so sick. And this is the kind of cool stuff that action has been missing. Make these really insane, thrillery action films. Make more, please. R.T. Thorne, I need to see your next film yesterday, bro. 9 out of 10. Next up, we watched Craven the Hunter. Woo! I did not want to watch this movie, but my friends are comic book fans, and I am a comic book fan, so we kind of had to. This movie's terrible, dude. There are almost no redeeming features. There's one really cool action scene, but that's about it. And the reason this movie isn't a 0 out of 10 for me is because it's hilarious. Not on purpose, obviously. It's just so badly written and filled with so many cliches. It feels like ChatGPT wrote this, and people say that, but I genuinely believe that some of the exposition in this is written by a 12-year-old, because it's literally your father did this. Now I will do this because it is our people. Here is a magic substance that is from our people, and then they just talk for 3 minutes about that magic substance and all the exposition. It's a big exposition dump, and it's a woman with a very, very weird voice doing it, and it's really uncomfortable. And genuinely, I'm not joking. I was crying, laughing in the theater, crying. I had people next to me giving me dirty looks. I'm sorry. The movie is hilarious. It's just so bad. It's funny. It's so funny. And let's elaborate on the anti-hero thing we talked about earlier with the Penguin. The Penguin is a villain. They made a TV show about a villain. It's a deep dive into a villain. Craven the Hunter. Craven is in the comics, and in another recent adaptation was in Spider-Man 2, the PlayStation game. He's sick in that. Craven is this terrifying, unrelenting beast. And the whole look with the lion is that in the comics, there's this unconquerable lion. He conquered the lion, and he wore its hide as this big big show thing. Oh, I'm the goat hunter. I can take down anything. And then they make him an anti-hero in this, where he's not even an anti-hero, just a hero, dude. And he kills bad people. There's a lot of heroes that kill bad people. So he's basically a hero. He kills bad people. He cares for the environment. He's taking care of animals and stuff. And that's not what Craven the Hunter is. And then like the superpowers that he gets turn him into like a cheetah thing where like he can run and jump, and that's fine. Like, I guess it's a comic book movie. You need to have some superpowers somewhere. But he has the stupidest superpower in the world. He can zoom with his eyes. And I understand like the magic is supposed to give him like some animal superpowers, which is why he can run fast and runs on all fours like an animal. He can climb like a monkey. But what the hell animal can zoom, dude? Like literally, it's like a lens. It's like this really ugly effect on screen as well, where he's just looking at something and then he like his eye zooms in. It's like playing Minecraft with Optifine on and pressing C. It's so hideous. Oh my god. Like if you wanted to give him really good vision, just do like the eagle thing where they can just see really well. You know, because eagles fly really high and they can see things all the way down the floor. Just give him like a crazy like focal length eye. You know, like but like a zoom lens. Holy, bro, his eye is a zoom lens. Oh, Craven the Hunter, terrible. 2 out of 10, and that extra points is just because it made me laugh. Don't watch this film, please. And to wrap up December, I watched Anora. Anora is supposed to be like a dramedy, a character study on someone who works in the shady underground. And I didn't feel like there was enough exploration of the shady underground. The film has really sexual themes, and I felt like that was kind of uncomfortable. I know it's supposed to make you uncomfortable, or at least that's what I got from the director. But it just goes on for too long sometimes, and there are scenes where it's completely unnecessary. Without spoiling the ending, for example, I think could have been absolutely incredible. I understand what they're going for. I understand exactly, well, I think I do, exactly why the director made the choice that he did. But it's just, it's kind of weird, bro. I know it's supposed to be weird, but it's not my thing, I guess. Um, and that's the drama part. The comedy part of this film is awesome. There's a sequence where it's like a kidnapping home invasion sequence in the middle of the film, and that is one of the funniest scenes I've seen all year. I was cackling the entire time. Just really well written comedy. It's a scene that goes on forever, and it's one of those where the joke where it reaches the point where like, okay, come on, man, you've gone on for too long, but it continues past that barrier and goes back into being hilarious because it's going on for so long. Um, yeah, the comedy in this is great. Nora, 6 out of 10, and that about wraps up December for me. I know I stopped making this type of video a while ago, but I want to come back to it because it's fun, and but with having a full-time job and working on films for the rest of my time, I don't really have a lot of time to write down big analyses of films. So this is like a fun way of me to just show you guys and talk about the films that I've been enjoying recently. Um, Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that I can make the same type of video next month. I'm gonna go watch Nosferatu. That's what the alarm was earlier, and I'll edit this when I'm back. Hopefully Nosferatu makes it on the best of January list. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next month. I just smacked the microphone. Please tell me that didn't mess up the audio. Okay, bye.